Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Tuesday, August the 7th, and welcome to our video commentary. I have a post over at the American Thinker today about this young woman, Sarah. I can't think of her last name right now. I cannot pronounce her last name, so let's just call her Sarah. You know who I'm talking about, the young woman who just joined the editorial staff of the New York Times. There's been a lot of controversy about this lady because many of the tweets and many of the statements that she's made in social media, many of them against white men, in some cases police officers, I mean, they're just vile statements. I mean, they're not, sometimes you can say, well, it's humor, but they're not humor. Humor is when you attack everybody, but when you target a group, that's something to be concerned about. I mean, had she written anything like that about any other group in the United States, Hispanics, blacks, whatever, she would have been, I don't think she would have gotten the job. So somehow she got the job, and it really raises a lot of questions about the New York Times. But after looking into this young woman's background, I learned that she was born in South Korea. Now, South Korea, as you know, is the other half of the Korean peninsula, as I like to say, the other half of the peninsula that works and is a very good part of the peninsula. The north, of course, is a disaster, as we all know. And one of the reasons that South Korea is prosperous and free is that about 60 years ago, they had a war. And the United States basically saved South Korea from an invasion from the north. And because of that, South Korea became the country that it is now. And this young woman was born in South Korea. She's about 30 years old. So her parents probably appreciate what I'm saying a heck of a lot more than she does. But her parents were able to grow up in a South Korea that was free and prosperous, in contrast to what it would have been like had those American soldiers not fought in South Korea. And when you look at the number of Americans who were killed in that war, 36,000 altogether, I don't have the exact statistics, but I'm going to say that probably at least 70 to 75% of them were white young men or white men who died so that she and her family could grow up in a free and prosperous South Korea. And that's what I think makes her comments about men and white men even more offensive, because she seems to be targeting everybody. Now that people are trying to make excuses for her and say, well, it's humor, it's her style. Well, again, if she had said that about any other group, would they be making excuses? And I think it really comes back to the New York Times. Why would they hire somebody like that? Why would they put somebody like that on their staff, knowing the stuff that she had written in the past? Imagine being the grandson or a family member of a person who had served in Korea, or someone in your family was killed in Korea. Imagine being the family of a police officer who was killed in the line of duty. Imagine being those families and hearing somebody speak that way about white men in general and officers, police officers. I mean, it's very bad, and it's very bad. And I think that it's a great mistake on the part of the New York Times to do something like this. Maybe I'm not saying the young woman is not talented. I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's a very talented writer. But as I say, she could have never gotten away with saying anything like that about anybody else. And that, I think, speaks volumes about how out of touch with reality and how tone deaf the New York Times is today. We have all of these videos over at YouTube. We have them on my blog, and we have them on Twitter. And if August the 7th is your birthday, have a good birthday, everybody. Bye-bye.